Download this code and get free GPT-4o from codegive.com, link in the description below. Certainly. Chaos engineering is a practice used to test the resilience of a system by intentionally introducing failures and observing how the system responds. AWS Fault Injection Simulator, FIS, is a managed service that helps you carry out chaos engineering experiments by simulating failures in your AWS applications. This tutorial will guide you through setting up and running chaos engineering experiments on an Amazon EKS, Elastic Kubernetes service, cluster using AWS FIS. ### prerequisites. 1 AWS account, you'll need an active AWS account. 2 EKS cluster, an existing EKS cluster with workloads running. 3 AWS CLI, ensure you have the AWS command line interface installed and configured. 4 kubectl, the Kubernetes command line tool to interact with your cluster. ### Step 1, set up your environment. 1 Install AWS CLI. Follow the AWS CLI installation guide, https://docs.aws.amazon.com/cli/latest/getting-started-install.html. 2 Configure AWS CLI. Bash. AWS Configure. Enter your AWS access key, secret key, region, and output format. 3 Install kubectl. Follow the kubectl installation guide, https://kubernetes.io/docs/tasks/tools/install-kubectl. 4 Set up kubeconfig for EKS. Bash. AWS X region. Your region. Update kubeconfig. Name your cluster name. ### Step 2, create an experiment template in AWS FIS. 1 Open the AWS Management Console and navigate to the AWS Fault Injection Simulator service. 2 Create an experiment template. Click on Create Experiment Template. Provide a name and description for your experiment. Choose a target, example your EKS service or pods. 3 Specify actions. You can select from various actions like injecting latency, terminating instances, or stopping ECS tasks. For example, to inject latency into a pod, you can select the AWS X inject latency action. Set parameters such as duration and latency. 4 Define a stop condition, optional. You can specify conditions under which the experiment should stop automatically. 5 Configure IAM role. Ensure that the IAM role has the necessary permissions for FIS to perform actions on your resources. 6 Create the experiment template. ### Step 3, run the chaos experiment. 1 Run the experiment. In the AWS FIS console, select your experiment template. Click on the Start Experiment button. Monitor the state of your experiment in the console. 2 Using AWS CLI. You can also run your experiment using the AWS CLI. Bash. AWS FIS Start Experiment template ARN. Your experiment template ARN. ### Step 4, monitor and analyze results. 1 Logs and metrics. Use Amazon CloudWatch to monitor logs and metrics for your application during and after the experiment. Check for any errors or performance degradation in your application. 2 Kubernetes monitoring. Use tools like Prometheus and Grafana to visualize the state of your pods and services in real time. ### Example, injecting latency into a pod. Here's a sample experiment template JSON for injecting latency into a specific pod. JSON. Description, inject latency into a specific pod. Targets. My target. Resource type, AWS Xpod. Resource ARNs. ARN AWS X US West 2:1234567891012 pod/my cluster/my namespace/my pod. Actions. Inject latency. Action ID, AWS X inject latency. Parameters. Duration, PT10s. Latency, 3000. Targets. Target, my target. Role ARN, ARN AWS IAM 1234567891012 role/myfis role. ### running the experiment from CLI. To create an experiment template from CLI, you can use the following. Bash. AWS FIS create experiment template CLI input JSON file :/experiment -template.json. Then, start the experiment. Bash. AWS FIS start experiment template ARN your experiment template ARN. ### conclusion. Chaos engineering with AWS Fault Injection Simulator offers a powerful way to test the resilience of your applications running on Amazon EKS. By following the steps outlined in this tutorial, you can create and execute chaos experiments effectively, helping to ensure your applications can withstand unexpected failures and maintain high availability. ### further reading. AWS Fault Injection Simulator documentation, https://docs.aws.amazon.com/fis/latest/user guide/what-is.html. Chaos engineering principles, https://principlesofchaos.org. Kubernetes documentation, https://kubernetes.io/docs/home. Feel free to reach out if you have further questions or need assistance with any of the steps.